welcome back to my channel. If you're new, welcome. Thank you so much for coming. If you are a returning subscriber, thank you again. I appreciate each and every one of you as you follow me on this journey to grow and be the best that I can be. On this channel, you will find, just real quickly, that I do vlogs on business and life coaching, and I also take you along on our travels as an international family, which hopefully it will begin again soon. So today we are going to talk about how to live your life with intention. So let's just go ahead and dive right into it. I'm going to start by reading a quote that I love, and the author is actually unknown, but I think it's a great quote. So, our intention creates our reality. We are powerful beyond measure. And that is something that speaks to me, because one thing that I've learned over the years is that to live a life that you feel is fulfilling is to live it with purpose and to do it with purpose. So your life is not going to just happen the way you want it to without intentionally taking steps to make that life happen. And how do we do that? One thing that I had to ask myself was, are you living a life that you are passionate about? Are you living a life that you were taught to live? And there's the difference with that is oftentimes we are raised in households, and God bless our parents, but we are taught what is acceptable to do once we grow up. For example, you could be told when you get older, the things that are equated to success is being either a doctor, a lawyer, or I don't know, maybe a pastor or a priest. And what if you want to be a singer or a dancer, but you feel like you can't do those things because it's not what you in your mind equate to what's considered successful or acceptable? And that's when it comes down to, are you living a life that you're passionate about? Are you living a life that you were trained to live? And there's nothing wrong with growing up and just doing whatever it is that would make your parents happy, or whatever it is that you think is your version of successful. That is your choice. That's the beauty of being of living life. But one thing I want to talk about today is how to live a life with intention for those of us who have that gnawing, nagging feeling inside that you want to be more, you want to do more, and you want more. That was me. For several years, I knew that I wanted to do more with my life than what I was just currently doing, but I just didn't have the steps of how to get there, or I wasn't ready to really get there because of where I was, and it just wasn't the right timing. And that's important. Timing is important. You have to really be ready to get to a point that you're willing to change your mentality and your mindset, and you're willing to make sacrifices to live out what you're passionate about, because it could be completely opposite from what you're already doing. So it's a big step in the pool of awkward, uncomfortable, and scary, right? So that takes courage, and that takes strength, and that takes patience. So let's get into what are some of my tips on how to first identify it, and then how to take the steps towards living a life of intention. The first identifier, something that I already just mentioned, is when you have that feeling inside that this cannot be it for me. This is not all that I want to do in my life. There has to be more. And you have that just pulling that not only there has to be more, but I want to do more. And how do you do that? First, like you guys know, I love to say, I'm like a broken record with this, write it down. Write it down. Say to yourself, and I had to go through this process because I wasn't exactly sure what the title of what I wanted to do was. Like, how do I even package that? So just start writing down what it is that you're passionate about. What are the things that you like to do that you want to share with others? That will help you narrow down what your intention is for your life and what your passions are for your life if you don't already know that. The next step is going to be, okay, once you decide that, what does that mean for you in your current situation? Is it a loss of income? Is it, adding a job title to what you're already doing? So like a side hustle, are you going to be adding a side hustle to what you're doing full time? Because a lot of us don't have the option to just up and quit our full-time job to start a passion. So you might have to create a side hustle. And what does that mean, and how do you execute that? Or does it mean picking up a hobby to learn more about your passion so you can see if this is something that's really going to fulfill you and that you want to do? Because sometimes we just have to try it out. One thing could be, are you passionate about maybe helping elders? Then that might mean going to volunteer at a nursing home to see if this is something that this is a group of people that you really want to be around for a consistent amount of time. So trying that out. My next tip is protecting your vision. Oftentimes when you have a idea, a vision of something that you are passionate about, that you want to do, you don't always want to scream it to the world, because people may not understand where you're coming from and may discourage you from taking that step out to do this, because they themselves may not have the courage to do what it is that you want to do. And that's something that you have to keep in mind, is protecting your vision for yourself and sharing that with those who are like-minded, who are going to want to see you win. Not everybody wants to see you win, and you have to accept that. You also have to accept that you might have to make sacrifices in order to be your own cheerleader and to walk into your purpose, because not everyone's going to be able to take that walk with you. So you have to remember that when you are identifying what your passion or purpose is, that you may have to go through this process by yourself or with very few people. It's not always something that you can share with everyone around you, because everyone around you may not be at the point that they're able to have that type of courage to do what it is that you're going to do. That can be lonely at first, but it doesn't mean it will always be that way. You also want to make sure that you are prioritizing what it is that you're wanting to do with your life. You have to remember, we do have to survive, we have to live. So prioritize how is it that you're going to execute this. When you identify what your intention is for your life, you also want to prioritize how do you go about it, because you still have to live. And how you go about that, again, is writing down a list of what is most important to you. What is it that you really want to do that means the most to you, and then how do you execute that? And then you want to make a list of priorities of how to go about it so that you can do this in the most efficient way possible. I'm a big believer in working smarter, not harder. So you want to make sure you do your research. You want to make sure that you're understanding exactly what your passion entails, the sacrifices that it's going to require of you, and then how do you go about that. And you may not have all the answers in the very beginning, but understand that you're going to want to have a list of priorities and prioritize the steps that you make so that you can make them efficiently. When you run into obstacles like feeling let down by others, when you're trying to obtain this intention for your life, just keep in mind that the reason you're feeling down is because you had an expectation of that person that they cannot meet. And you will start to find that when you feel let down by other people, is not necessarily something they're doing intentionally. It means that you held them to a higher standard than they were able to meet, and you're now growing to a place that the relationship you have with that person may not be suitable anymore for where you're going in life. And the quicker that you identify that, the easier it's going to be for you to start making steps towards that goal. Because the closer you come to your passion, your goal, you might realize that there are people that are going to be around you that are there for a season and a reason. Some people will help you propel yourself to the next level, and some people will take away from you being able to take the next step. When you start to understand that and identify all the different elements that will be around you as you're trying to live your life in purpose, then it will help you to make those next steps to reaching that next goal in life. That's one thing I think can be the hardest thing for us to overcome, is that we want to sometimes just take everybody with us in one big village and all be happy together, and it just doesn't work like that. I mean, you see it a lot with celebrities, and how they don't always seem to have a lot of people around them, or they don't have the right team of people around them. It's a process. We're human. A lot of times when we win, we want other people to win, but that's just not the case. And sometimes you'll have people that can go along with you, but you have to accept that on this journey of living your life with intention, everyone may not fit into this journey with you. So you have to understand that this journey is going to be a process for you, and it's going to be a process for the people around you as well. And the quicker that you identify how people fit into this intention for your life, the easier it's going to be for you. Your intention for your life will create your reality. When you purposely go after something that you want for your life and you're creating the roadmap for your life, it will become your reality. Is it going to be hard? Yes. Is it going to be daunting and scary? Absolutely. But you are creating something that hasn't been created before. You are the artist for your own life. You're the editor, the director, the producer, and the actor. So you have to remember, it's going to be something that's very unknown to you. It's going to feel, a little nerve-wracking, but it's also going to feel great and fulfilling because you are creating your own reality and changing the life that you are currently in. So change is hard, but change can also be absolutely miraculous and beautiful. The next sentence I love, we are powerful beyond measure. That is absolutely true. You don't know your own power until you try it out. You have no idea how powerful you can be as a person until you yourself start to test your own abilities. And I'm telling you, you might shock yourself. You might be like, oh, okay, I did not realize I could do all of that. And it is absolutely wonderful. Give yourself a little pat on the back, like, okay, you did all right that time. It will be amazing to see just the lengths that you can go to and the doors that you can open for yourself, which leads me to my final piece of advice. I like to call it the killing of no. Oftentimes when you're on this journey, you will hear no a lot. It's like applying for a job and you don't get it and you're told no. I believe no does not mean no. No means try again. And when it relates to business. So when you're getting these no's, or when you get people that tell you can't do it, do not buy into that as being something that's definitive. It's not. It just means try again. Try to knock on another door. When one door closes, another one opens. You keep knocking until that door that opens that has the yes for you. So just keep going. Thank you for joining me. If you're new, again, thank you for coming. If you are returning, I love you guys. Thank you so much for all the support. And until next time.